Hey, how's it going? My name's Sam, and this video is about how I found out that I'm type 1 diabetic. It was a rude awakening, so to say. I don't know how long I've been fighting it, or like dealing with it, but it's been a lot. And I'm gonna kind of go through how I've been dealing with it, how I found out how I got it, um, and the whole shebang. You know, how I've been dealing with it, how I've been working through it, and how I've been working with diabetes. And so first things first, how I found out. Now, when I first found out, it was my birthday. Oddly enough, we my dad and my wife, they were like, "Hey, let's go to a skating rink. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna get drunk. We're gonna have like all the boys come by and stuff. And it was gonna be a fun time." And it was. It was a fucking blast. I enjoyed it so much. Um, Later on that night, I thought I had drank too much. I was getting sick. Yada yada yada. I'm not gonna get into it too much. Wasn't a fun time. With that, it usually whenever I drank too much, it would be maybe, let's say, a day at most, like maximum. Whenever I would be like, ooh, I feel like crap. Um, this time, it was a day, and I was like, okay, I still feel kind of bad. So stayed home from work. I didn't go to work. I ended up suffering through it, still getting sick and all that whatnot, till the next morning, and it was, my mind was a little foggy. I was going through what's called DKA, which I had no clue what was. Um, I heard my dad come out of his bedroom. I live with my dad, um, and I called out to him, and I was like, "So, okay, hold on, let me go back. I was on the floor, like kind of like just getting sick into a trash bag. Was not a fun time. I'm not gonna go into it any more than that, so to say, but it was like I was sweating, and then I couldn't walk. So we live on the second floor, or like the bedroom's on the second floor, and I would walk downstairs, go get water. I did that like 3 times that night. The fourth time I tried it, I went down like maybe 3 steps, and my legs stopped working. So I crawled back to the bedroom, and that was probably like 4:35, if my memory serves me correct. Um, with that, uh, I text Dad, and I'm like, "Hey, something's wrong. I can't move." And he comes up, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, buddy?" And he saved my life, pretty much. I was about to die. It was to the point where my body was shutting down. My heart couldn't pump the blood enough, and it was basically not going to my legs or my arms. It was just like the core stuff. But even my, like, it was hard to speak and all this type of stuff. It was just rough. And we're sitting down there, and he's like, "You want me to call an ambulance?" I was like, "No, I can walk to the car. I can walk to the car." Like, I wanted to walk to the car to like kind of prove it to myself. I tried to stand up, and he's like, "Okay, we're going to the hospital. There's nowhere else we can take you. We're going to the hospital." I get up, I start walking. We get out of the front door, and my legs just freeze. I couldn't move. He picks me up on his back. He puts me in the passenger seat. We drive to the hospital, and then by that time, my breathing got really weird. It was like almost hyperventilating in a sense. It was like a like I just couldn't control it. Super odd. Um, and the doctors, now granted, the doctors were fantastic. I love them. They saved my life. God bless them. But I I just wanted water. My mouth was so dry. I couldn't speak properly. I could only like get water, like barely. And my wife was sitting there just like giving me the pity eyes, just like, I'm so fucking sorry. And we get through it. Come to find out, my wife had to sign paperwork saying if shit goes wrong, they aren't liable, and it is what it is. So that was a little scary for her. Took me 5 days in ICU to recover. A bunch of just medical tests and all that type of stuff. Nurses were fantastic. They always checked on me. The only not fun part was really the stomach shot for like if you're sitting for too long. Not fun. The doctors come to me and they're like, hey, we think you're type 1 diabetic. I'm like, okay. And they're like, but you're too skinny. I'm like, all right. What does that mean? They were saying from like my body composure, it just doesn't match. And usually type 1s are like from birth and this and that. They're like, it can happen where you could just become diabetic. And that was my case. It was, actually it's a little bit different than that. Technically I'm a type 1, but from what the doctors were saying in the hospital, there's a new study where it's a type 1.5 where I'm like in between, so to say. Don't really understand the whole like terminology and how it works. But yeah, that was eye-opening that it could just happen to you. I was having a birthday party. The next day, I felt like crap. The day after that, I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. It was scary, so to say. It was terrifying. Alright, so how my life has changed. Currently, well, I was a mechanic. I still am. I'm still doing all that fun jazz that I was doing. But workflow has changed tremendously. Meaning, like, I have a high metabolism, so it's kind of a little bit different, but from like most people. So whenever I first got diagnosed and I was dealing with it, I was taking insulin and all that type of stuff. 5 shots a day. Not fun. Whenever you've never given yourself a shot. Rude awakening, by the way. It's not like painful or anything, but the action of it just gets me a little queasy. I'm not used to that. I've gotten used to it recently, but now or in the beginning it was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. And my wife helped out a lot. If you have a support group or like someone that you could lean on and be like, hey man, I need some help, I definitely suggest it. It made my process so much smoother. But how my life has changed. I work for race teams. I go out and do like racetrack stuff. If you've seen the channel, you see what I do. With that, I used to be able to just like not eat breakfast, eat lunch at like 1:30, and then dinner at like 9:30. You know what I'm saying? Like just 2 meals and kind of just wing it. Now I can't go without having emergency sugar in my bag. I have a whole bag full of my medicine. I have a medical card with me, so if I pass out, people around me know, oh, he's type 1 diabetic. He just needs some sugar. But the amount of work, like strenuous work, like just lifting heavy objects, running, it's been a change in my life. Like, I've come to find out that I can like realize whenever I'm dropping in sugar. And what I mean by that is, I'll get what I call the shakes. Like I'll put my hand out and I'll watch my fingers. And if my fingers shake, I know my blood sugar is low, because my body's going into the doctors called it like there's a bear in the room. I don't really have anxiety, so they described it kind of like anxiety. So if you have anxiety, it kind of, I guess, feels like that. But with me, it was my vision. I would notice my vision would slowly get blurry, where like I wouldn't be able to find tools. I wouldn't be able to find like little nuts and bolts on the ground. I'd just overlook it. And then I would also get irritated, like easily irritated, like something so simple as I would take a wheel off of a car and the lug nut wouldn't come out of the socket. And I got so irritated that I threw the socket on the floor and then looked at myself and I was like, what are you doing? This isn't you. It was pretty much the Snickers commercial. You aren't you when you need the candy bar, whatever the fuck it was. So that was eye-opening. And I've learned how my body has changed and how to deal with it. Alright, so where was I? How I've been dealing with it. So, it's been a playing game. Personally, my doctor had said, hey, my short-term insulin, I can play with it here and there, like if I need to drop a little bit, like if I'm doing more outdoor work or whatever, drop it 1. If you feel like you need to drop it 2, but don't go any more than that. And that's worked pretty well. So like if I'm doing like a race weekend, helping out a race team, and I'm like lifting tires, running to the pit stops and all that type of stuff, riding bikes around, I take lower dosages just because I'm working so hard. I'm gonna burn through those carbs. That's how I've kind of understood it. It might not be the right technical term, but it's kind of how I've been dealing with it and how it's worked for me. My blood sugar level is pretty good actually now. I believe my A1C is what it's called, was at a 6.5, where it was at like 14 before, like in the hospital. So it's dropped a lot, and I'm in the green now. I can actually get like tattoos and stuff, because when you're diabetic, you can't get a tattoo until your blood sugar's at a controlled level. Otherwise, you like bleed excessively, and it gets really bad. And even the tattoo artist won't tattoo you. Oddly enough, well, not oddly, but so that's all. That's been what's going on. It's how I found out, how I've been dealing with it, and how I've been living with it. And I've lived with it for 5. No, it's been over almost a year. Almost a year, because my next doctor visit is in 3 months. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's how I've been dealing with it. I figured I would make this video to help out anyone that is recently diagnosed or going through it, and they're like, hey, I just want some extra information. Maybe someone who is also going through the same stuff. And I figured it would help. If it did help, awesome. If it didn't, sorry. I'm not you, but we can all help from experiences. So anyways, I'm gonna end off here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. If you guys are going through some tough stuff, I pray for you. And see you later.